that invisible sandwich.
No, if you have an invisible sandwich, then you'll be invisibly hungry.
Is the man going to come with us?
What man?
The nice town man who takes care of us when we go in the car.
Sure. We wouldn't drive anywhere without him.
For tough winter roads, make Michelin Winter Radials your one and only tire.
One and only Michelin.
Hey, Dad, look. It's terrific.
Yeah, not bad. Say, do you have any of these made by Canadians? I'd like to compare them. Just to be sure. Let's face it. A lot of Canadian jobs depend on us giving Canadians a fair chance. So, we should do it. Shouldn't we?
Well, shouldn't we?
The halftime show has just concluded here at Exhibition Stadium. We'll be ready for the second half of this game in just a moment. Right now, let us go down to Bill Stevenson.
And Tom, Randy Rhino, former star defensive half, out of action because of injury. Randy, you were in the dressing room. What was the move?
Everybody was really excited, especially our offensive line. They feel like the way they're blowing them off the football now that there's no question that we're going to really move the football and up and down the field this second half.
Do you feel that this came about because everybody underrated them?
Well, I think the whole, especially the offense, really had something to prove today after all the grief we've taken this week. And, you know, I don't think Edmonton really thought that we could move the football on them, and they proved it. They're running right at their strength.
Thank you very much, Randy Rhino. And now let's go upstairs to Don Chevrier.
Thank you, Bill Stevenson. With me, Russ Jackson and Terry Evanston. An exciting first half. It's going to be a great second half for sure. And, Russ, what can we look for in the way of changes here?
Well, I think Edmonton has to go back to their own game plan, Don, and throw that ball a little bit more. I was surprised at how much they ran the ball, but they did give it away twice inside the 30-yard line.
Terry, what do you think?
Edmonton is running on second down, totally out of character what they've done all season long. I look for totally different offensive thinking in the second half.
The Eskimos set to receive from Don Sweet, with Edmonton leading Montreal 7-6 as the second half of the Grey Cup game is underway. Emilio Cueta from the 9-yard line. Cracked down to the 25. A good hit by Jerry DiTilio. And it's first down, Edmonton, from the 25-yard line.
Don, I think one of the things we're going to have to look at is see who's going to play quarterback, and it's Warren Moon coming in, but on a replay, Jerry DiTilio, who leads this Alouette team on specialty teams especially, just got the great hit to start the second half off, and we will see Warren Moon.
There he is, number one, to quarterback the Eskimos in this half, Warren Moon. Be good for about 6 yards for the young quarterback. The middle linebacker, Tom Cousineau, reacting to limit his gain. It's going to be second down, about 4, Edmonton. And here's how they compare statistically in the first half. Total offense, just 4 yards apart. Surprisingly, Montreal on the long end of it. This is second down and 4. The ball lands in front of them, and the Eskimos will have to punt it away.
Waddell Smith coming out of the backfield. They started off the game that way, lining him up as a tailback and letting him come out of the backfield, and he went downfield about 20 yards and hooked, and there was no one within 10 yards of him. Warren Moon throwing the ball short of him, even though he had slipped.
Joe Scannella in his second year, his second Grey Cup as head coach of the Montreal Alouettes, who lost to the Eskimos by 7 points at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto a year ago. Alyssa kicks to Baker and Harris. And this is Pete Baker at the 33-yard line. Straight up the middle goes Baker, a good run back. Cracked down high to the 49. Kepley was there with electric, but watch the run back.
Well, Keith Baker does an excellent job here coming back inside. He set Pete Laverano up very well for the blocker, number 7 for the Eskimos, who had outside containment. And once he turned it back inside, he brought it back 16 yards.
The line of scrimmage is the 49-yard line of the Montreal Alouettes, who trail 7-6. David Green across the 50 for about 3. Green with so many 200-yard games in 1979. About to pass the 100 mark today. He's now 4 yards shy of that total. He is 96 yards so far in this Grey Cup game.
Huey Campbell has to be a little concerned about the turn of events in that first half. His club did get to Joe Barnes a few times on passing situations, but Barnes, when he threw the ball, was very successful.
Second down, 7. Will have a first down, Montreal, as he steps through the charge to the Edmonton 50-yard line. Carey there again. Joe having trouble spotting his receivers, but he made the most of it.
We're getting excellent coverage downfield. Joe Barnes is getting good pressure from the inside. Tom Towns, Dale Potter's coming from the outside. Good pass protection by the backs, but he's flushing out of there too early, I believe. There's people that are open downfield. He's got to find them, because if Edmonton's defense is really holding him in the game right now.
First down from the Eskimo 50. David Green has just surpassed the 100-yard mark in the Grey Cup game, getting 5 halfway to a first down of the Eskimo 45 in the grasp of Dave Pinnell, Dr. Depp, and Pete Laverado.
On that play they're running to David Green almost reminds you of the Veer series that they run in colleges down the stage, where he's just trying to find a seam off tackle inside the end, and he's had a lot of success with that play this afternoon. Let's go down to Don Whitman.
Tom Wilkinson, any particular reason you came out?
None other than Warren is a change, and we've been doing it all year, and it helped us get here, and so we're doing it again.
You might go back in.
Yeah.
A big gain for David Green as he steps out of bounds with another first down. At the 32-yard line, chased by Butler and Laverado, but the Eskimos have not found a way to contain the outstanding player in the country, David Green.
Well, they've been able to go wide. That's one thing they've been able to do here. And Ron Este, who lined up as a defensive end that time, committed himself to the inside. And he wasn't fast enough to cut David Green off. He made the penetration, but went inside just a little bit too much, and David Green just ran around him.
Another interesting pointer, making excellent blocks at the point of attack with Delarive and Larry Smith, and that's why they're getting to the outside.
All right, here's Joe Barnes, the first down call. Right back to David Green. Finds some stuff going inside from Dan Kepley and Pete Laverado shooting up. That'll limit his gain to about 3 yards. Grey Cup 1979 from Montreal returns in just a moment.
GMC, we're truck people, period. Sometimes we build trucks just for the fun of it. Your fun. Like the go just about anywhere four-wheel drive Jimmy, the great escape machine. Or GMC's rally wagon that you can equip to seat up to 12. Or to tow your dream boat. Or a good old pickup. Want some fun? Just see your GMC dealer. Trucks are what we're all about.
Wings in the morning and license to fly. Everybody's gonna have religion and glory. Everybody's gonna be a singing a
Cachet Records proudly presents Johnny Cash, A Believer Sings the Truth.
Oh, come, angel band.
He's alive and I'm forgiven. Heaven's gates are open wide. He's alive. He's alive. Johnny Cash, A Believer Sings the Truth. In the stores now.
And that is the story on David Green so far this afternoon. It's now second down from the 29-yard line of the Eskimos for the Montreal Alouettes. Keith Baker broke the tackle and picks up a first down. Now a late flag is thrown.
Roland Mangold is a little upset with himself. But Joe Barnes got this pass away to keep Baker, and the Eskimos again guilty of poor tackling. Should have had him short of that first down, and I believe it's Roland Mangold who comes in after Baker's down and makes the late hit on an Eskimo player.
Something that hasn't been done all year on the Edmonton defense, and that's poor tackling. Let's listen to the referee.
Unnecessary roughness against Montreal. Go ahead, Terry.
But they have excellent downfield one-on-one tacklers, and it's the poorest display all year long for Edmonton right now. They've been shutting them down, but all of a sudden they missed the tackle. Montreal comes up with a big play.
Terry, there's the catch by Baker, slipping away from the tackle to get extra yardage. And then Mangold called for unnecessary roughness as that play was winding up. But they got first down out of it, which they had acquired before the infraction.
That's great, Don.
Complete at the 25-yard line to Larry Smith. His first catch today. It could be another Montreal first down.
Joe Barnes is throwing the ball with authority today. He was criticized last week for not throwing that ball very well, and he said all week that he felt he was going to throw the ball well today, and he is, because he had that one right on the line to Smith. His first catch, as you mentioned, Don, of the afternoon. Looking at it again, downfield is the defensive back. He's split right between the two defensive backs, one of them being number 28, Greg Butler.
First down, Montreal. Gain of about 3 yards on the play. The Alouettes now have 14 first downs, 7 in the air and 7 on the ground, as David Green will now leave them second down and about 8 from the area of the 22-yard line. While we have a moment, I know I speak for both network television crews in extending our deepest sympathy to the family of Fred Scambatti, a tremendous sports broadcaster in this country who passed away on Friday morning.
Don, someone very special to all of us, especially we young ones who knew Fred for many, many years.
We're sure going to miss him. Joe Barnes, second down and 8. That's David Green, but all over David Green. At the 22-yard line is Dale Potter, the left corner linebacker, number 30, to prevent the first down. It's virtually no gain. It's going to be third down, 7.5 yards to go. Let's have one more look at the play.
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos have been able to force Barnes out of the pocket. He's looking downfield, but a lot of the completions he has had, he's had to get out of that pocket and throw it downfield. That time, David Green just had about 3 or 4 yards. Certainly not enough for the first down, and we'll see Don Sweet attempting his third field goal of the afternoon.
He is 2 for 2, and right now can put the Alouettes into the lead for the first time today. He has kept them close to 2 previous field goals. This one to Tilly Oldhold from 30 yards away, angle right. He's good. Montreal has the lead by a score of 9-7. Sweet good from 30, 38, and 45 yards this afternoon. He holds the Grey Cup record of 6. He's halfway there right now.
Great pressure player. Don Sweet, everyone wants it. Don Sweet, an excellent football player, excellent field goal kicker, greatest percentage in the CFL. Big games, he always comes up big. Edmonton Eskimos have got to start moving the football right now. But Montreal definitely has the momentum.
A key drive for Warren Moon and the Eskimos right here from the 35-yard line. Well, he overthrew his would-be receiver, John Kalahofsky, as we go down to Bill Stevenson.
Don, you're looking at David Green, who caught a shot on the back of the neck from Boone. He gave him the forearm across the back of the neck. It is very sore. They're working on it right now. Green says he's all right, though. He'll go back and play. But that's how hard they're hitting out on the field today.
And John Kalahofsky, Bill, just limped off to the Edmonton bench after that play, which leaves them second down 10 from the 35-yard line. Here's the pressure on Moon. He's got it away, a strike. Waddell Smith, it'll be first down Eskimos up near the 49-yard line.
Don, in the last couple of series of plays, the Edmonton Eskimos have had receivers open. When they went to Waddell Smith in the first series when Moon came in to start this half, he was open. This time, Waddell Smith lining up as a wide receiver on the right side, just comes underneath the inside receiver and is wide open, and they are finding the holes in that Montreal zone. And if they can keep the drive going, as you said, it's very important that they get some momentum back on their side.
That's the first completion for Moon, the third catch for Waddell Smith. He has a touchdown, of course, the game's only. Jim Germany is all wrapped up in a neat bundle near the 50-yard line by Tony Petruccio, number 68. And so we're midway through quarter number 3. We'll remind you, this is Grey Cup 79 from Montreal.
How do you handle a tough job like stripping down an old rocker? One way is good old-fashioned willpower. A far more civilized way is the amazing work wheel from Black & Decker. For paint removal, rust removal, buffing, or sharpening, the work wheel power stripper and sander turns a hard job into an easy one. Next time you take on a tough job, do it with willpower and work all day, or with work wheel and sit on your rocker.
For your working day, Black & Decker's the way.
9-7, Montreal leading Edmonton as we have 7 minutes and 2 seconds of third quarter playing time remaining. Jim Germany was down after the last play and has just made his way across to the Eskimo bench.
Junior IU, the man has had played excellent football, probably the best of his entire career. They feel as Junior goes on the pass rush, the front four can get to Wilkinson or Moon. They can do it with the front four, then their linebackers will take care of the people underneath.
Number 21, Don Warrington, in for Jim Germany for at least this play. Kelly at the 44-yard line of Montreal. An Eskimo first down. Tony Proudfoot, number 23, hauled him down as Warren Moon begins to find his receivers to keep this drive alive.
Don, what he's doing now is getting that protection. Junior IU and the other front four members are not getting to him, and he's running the wide receivers underneath, and they're getting in behind the linebackers, creating a problem for the linebackers. Moon has the time, and the outside receivers, first it was Waddell Smith, this time Kelly, are coming underneath, the man going deep.
Moon will retain the ball at the 33-yard line. It should be another first down, or very close to it, for the Edmonton Eskimos. Junior IU and Glenn Weir reacting defensively on the play. It is first down, Edmonton.
Montreal's playing a 3-deep zone. They're closing off to the outside, and that's why the people are now getting open on the inside. And every time Warren Moon has rolled to the right, they've shut it down. He's got to stay in the pocket. The center of that defense is open.
Kelly heads right. Lang on the left side. Waddell Smith deep in the backfield, comes looping out left now. Going for Waddell Smith. And it was knocked away by Jim Marshall. A big defensive play for the former Saskatchewan Rough Rider and Toronto Argonaut, Jim Marshall, right there.
Now they've been running him out of that backfield like that continuously in the second half. That time he was deep and he had the defense beat. He got behind the zone, and the ball hung up there as Moon threw it into the end zone and gave the defender time to get back and knock it down and almost intercept it. Jim Marshall making the big defensive play, but Waddell Smith had gotten in behind that zone.
That leaves the Eskimos second down, 10 from the Montreal 33-yard line, with the Alouettes leading 9-7. 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Wide open, touchdown, Tommy Scott.
I talked about Tommy Scott at the top of the game. He's the person that can break a zone better than anybody in Canadian football today. He's smooth, he's got composure, and when he sees a soft spot, he's going to find it.
You have to wonder, Terry, if that was the actual play, because Stu Lang lined up as the wide receiver on that side, and he started to come in as though he had lined up in the wrong formation, and Warren Moon just warned him to stay out there. Scott ran sort of a post corner, looked to the inside, went out by the flag, and he beat Larry Utek.
Utek arrived a step too late to prevent the touchdown. And now Dave Cutler with a point after attempt. It's there, and the Eskimos are back on top. Edmonton 14, Montreal 9, with just over 4.5 minutes to play here in the third quarter of a very exciting Grey Cup game. There's the drive, capped on a 33-yard touchdown strike from Warren Moon to Tommy Scott, the ex-Winnipeg Blue Bomber.
Great flexibility of the Edmonton offense is that Huey Campbell teaches those quarterbacks that if the first receiver shut down immediately, go to the secondary man immediately. Don't wait. You've got the receiver that can read the defense. If it's man-on-man, he'll go on top. If it's a zone, he'll find the soft spot. And this is the flexibility that Montreal doesn't have.
John O'Leary, bottom of your screen, is going back with, now Chuck McMahon is consulting with Keith Baker, the other deep man, as Junior Ayew, who was awesome against Ottawa in the Eastern Final a week ago, has found the going a little tougher today, but he's been effective nonetheless as the Alouettes have given the Eskimos a pretty good front four rush this afternoon. Here's Cutler's kickoff, headed for Baker at the 11-yard line. He was shopping for room and couldn't buy any. Had to settle for the 30, where Emilio Frietta, the Edmonton Wildcat Juniors, number 37, stopped the kickoff return at 19 yards. Here's the scoring play again.
Oh, this is an excellent coverage. You'll see he comes backside. He saw it shut down, but he didn't take his eyes off of Tommy Scott at all. Now, you notice that Dickie Harris got cut up short. Larry Utek does not have the ability to get back deep, and he floats it to the outside and gives that receiver a chance to catch the football.
Scott has the Eskimos on top again, 14-9, as the Alouettes are 1st and 10 from their 30. David Green wrapped up early by Larry Highbaugh, who is shooting up there for coverage as Green's swing began, and they'll take 2 yards away from them that play. Let's go down to Don Whitman.
Tommy Scott scored that big go-ahead touchdown. Tommy, did you notice something out there?
No, the field's wet.
What made that play work so well?
I don't know. The protection of the line gave me plenty of time to give a move to the inside, and the defensive back went to the post, and I was able to get to the flag, and Warren took the ball right on the money. So
he certainly did. Let's go back upstairs for more action. Here's Don Chevrier.
All right, Don. Indeed, the field is wet. This is Baker. Good coverage by the Eskimos limits that gain to about 3 yards. Joe Holloman, number 29, and the great linebacker Dan Kepley combining on the hit. It's going to be
Don, the
third
last
down.
couple of plays, this Edmonton club has shown that they can tackle. In the first half, they were a little sloppy, a little tardy in that particular area, but they have really been laying the leather to these Montreal players. Kepley that time getting a good shot.
Frietta's going back with Butler. They're standing in the area of the Eskimo 30-yard line as the Alouettes get set to punt it away. Wally Buono, who's kicked well today for Montreal, standing back near his 20-yard line as we have about 3.5 minutes left here in quarter number 3. Butler charged the ball. Frietta winds up with it back near his 25-yard line, and he'll stay right there at the 26. Baker and Cousineau led the Montreal delegation to greet him. Lost 2 yards on the return. A good 48-yard punt, aided by that bounce by Wally Buono.
Well, we talked about the last series when Edmonton had the ball of being important to the Eskimos. It's important now for the Montreal Alouettes to show that they can stop this passing game, because once Edmonton gets all that confidence, especially in their passing game, you know that they can put some points on the board.
Yes, they can. Chasing him. Waddell Smith, his 4th catch of the day, open for a first down at the 47.5-yard line. Break up 79 from Montreal returns in just a moment.
Well, when there's a lot of tough work to be done, you can count on a Chevy. Come on strong, you can count on a Chevy. Come on strong. Pickup, Blazer, Suburban, or van, they're all beautifully tough. When you're getting ready to meet the crowd, you can count on a Chevy to do you proud. To do you proud. It's Saturday night beautiful and Monday morning tough.
The Mach 2 by Arrow. A tapered shirt that fits you perfectly, because only the Mach 2 is tailored to the contours of your body, with a dart here and here, has sleeves the length you choose, and if you wish, a patented marked collar, the only collar shaped to fit the cone of your neck. That's the Mach 2, the perfect tapered shirt. Fittingly made only by Arrow.
Waddell Smith, leading receiver in Canada this year. great speed. You see, they look back at the quarterback. He wasn't running that particular pattern. He was going downfield. The quarterback pumped the football. Warren Moon pumped it. He comes back to the outside. The flexibility of those receivers shown there again.
That's a 21-yard gain. First down, Edmonton Eskimos. Jim Germany. Petruccio all over him with help from Willie Hampton. There'll be little or no gain. Warren Moon, by the way, since coming in relief of Tom Wilkinson, has gone 4 for 7 for 83 yards. That's the story on Wilkie. He was 6 for 10 in the first half. A much better first half for him, I might add. The first half he had of the game against Calgary in the Western Final last week.
Warren Moon 4 for 7, and Wilkie was hot early in that first half as he moved them down twice. Once they got stopped on a 3rd and 1 situation. The other time they scored.
From the 48-yard line, second down. There's Tommy Scott. First down Eskimos at the Montreal 50. And Terry, you can almost sense the momentum now beginning to shift a little bit. Montreal came back with a couple of field goals after the Eskimos touchdown. And now, after the Alouettes took the brief lead, it is the Eskimos on the move following the touchdown pass to Tommy Scott.
Tommy Scott makes this offensive team work. Regardless what anybody tells you, if he's smooth, if he's catching the football, so are the other wide receivers, and then no one finds a dead zone like Tommy Scott.
He's got 3 for 75 yards, and of course that one very important touchdown. From Petruccio gets hammered by Wally Buono, and a penalty flag is thrown. The pass for Waddell Smith no good. In the officials' view, that was a late hit by Wally Buono, who was taking dead aim on Moon as he released the ball.
Don, you could see the blitz coming from the Montreal defense a little early, and Warren Moon got a little deeper in his rollout situation to get to the outside. Well, listen to Lauren Wood.
Montreal number 39.
Wally Buono. Late hit, and they'll walk out 15.
Don, you're exactly right. There was Buono. The ball was thrown very flat, and Harris had very good coverage on Waddell Smith. He had that good position where Smith could not go by him. He actually tried to push himself by, but Harris, being the good defensive corner, just stayed in that great position, taking the ball away from Smith.
Montreal has paid quite a price in penalties this afternoon, as you just saw, because now it is Edmonton with the lead of 14-9, a minute 5 till three-quarter time, going first down from the Alouette 35-yard line. As Germany down to about the 31, getting 4 yards. Wally Buono on that play again. Junior IU there. On with Jim Burrow, number 16 for the deep secondary. It's going to be second down and 6. Joe Barnes got off to a bit of a shaky start, but you can't fault his completion percentage. Almost perfect, 9 for 10, 122 yards so far.
Don, you start to see a little more blitzing by this Montreal club. They know they can't sit back in that zone now because they're being picked to pieces, and it puts a lot of pressure on the defensive backs having to cover these fast receivers man-to-man.
So many good, and as you say, fast receivers on the Eskimo offensive lineup. 6 deep backs in now for Montreal defensively. Of Kelly. He had a great chance for the reception. Area of the 15-yard line. Jim Marshall came up and jarred it loose.
Don, a good read by Warren Moon. The blitz was coming. You see number 45, Cousineau, and Buono came, and Kelly ran a great bend-in pattern, but when Warren Moon had to deliver the ball just a little sooner than he wanted to, he threw it just a little bit behind Kelly, and Marshall was there to knock him down when he couldn't quite find the handle on it. But a good read by Warren Moon, feeling the blitz was coming, knowing he's doing a good job of picking the zone apart.
This is Dave Cutler's first field goal attempt coming up on what should be the final play of quarter 3. It will come from the 38-yard line, slight angle left. He's there. A 38-yarder for Dave Cutler. Ups the Eskimo lead to 17-9 on the final play of the third quarter. And so at the end of quarter 3, the score is Edmonton 17, Montreal 9, and Grey Cup 79 continues right after this.
Oh, fiberglass pink insulation is like long underwear for your house. You see, like your long underwear, fiberglass pink helps keep the heat in and the cold out. And like your long underwear, fiberglass pink should be worn from top to bottom, from the attic right down to the basement. But unlike your long underwear, fiberglass pink never wears out. You want to stay warm this winter? Call your building supply dealer. And think, pink.
In February of 1966, Sony introduced the world's first color video recorder for home use. Now, Sony introduces the latest. The new Sony Betamax SL5400 with the unique Beta Scan, remote control fast forward and reverse that lets you see the picture as it goes. It also gives you 4.5-hour recording, express tuning, and a 3-day one-event timer. See Sony Betamax, the latest color home video recorder at your Sony dealer today.
Cutting out, I'm moving out of here. Working for the man, brother. Cutting out for some good times, a long, long way from here. Gonna spend some time my way. Really glad I'm here.
Canada's great taste in ale. What a beer to share.
Me and the boys in our 50s. Me and the boys and our beer.
Glenn Weir, what is that Edmonton offense doing differently?
Well, they're going to a little bit of a shorter game. Our rush has got to keep them contained. I think that's our problem. We're letting them out, letting them have a little bit too much time. But I think we'll get that fixed up pretty quick.
Thank you, Glenn Weir.
You're welcome.
On the first play of the fourth quarter, as you saw, Joe Barnes was hit as he was about to unload the ball. Fluttered down. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Again, Terry, they're giving Joe enough protection. It just seems that he is not able to find that receiver downfield.
The guys are not getting away from their coverage. They seem to be floating away from their people instead of making precise cuts. They've got to come back to the football because the Edmonton defensive backs are sitting back there, Russ, a good 15 to 18 yards, and they're running into the coverage.
That was Este with a hit on Joe Barnes. 2nd down now. Barnes takes it up to the 53-yard line. That will be 1st down, Alouettes.
Well, good defensive protection for the passer. They took the rush to the outside. Barnes came up the middle. There was no one there. Boone, number 64, got taken to the ground. When he came up the middle, there was nothing in front of him, and he had that 1st down as soon as he turned it upfield.
That was Ed Jones there with a hit on Barnes. The Alouettes from the 53 go 1st down. David Green.
Wow, he was lucky to hang on to that ball because David Boone was in the backfield as fast as Barnes got the ball to Green, and he is a big one. Not much of a contest there.
He's been getting double-teamed all the first half, and I'm sure he's taken a lot of frustrations on this particular hit right here. Goes up on top. Classic example of tackling and stuffing him into the ground.
Oh, they don't hit any harder than that.
David Boone, there he is, 2nd down, 11. Eskimos back into a 3-4. Green, look out. Ball popped loose. Green got it back. That was his old buddy Carl Cornell right on top of David Green.
Green is a little concerned now. He thought maybe they grabbed the face mask there, but they're trying to set up a screen. Earlier in the first half, they tried to set up a screen that was covered very well. They tried to go to O'Leary. This time, throwing the screen out to Green, and Carl Cornell said hello, and he might have had a little complaint that he grabbed that face mask just a little bit.
Ladd is back with Butler near the 25-yard line as the Alouettes will punt it away. 12 minutes. 35 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. And Edmonton leads Montreal 17-9. High snap. Bono just getting it away. Este right on top of him. Trietta penetrates the 40 to about the 43. 8-yard return. Chuck McMahon made the tackle. A 32-yard punt under some considerable pressure that time by Wally Bono. Este right there in his doorstep.
It'll be interesting, Don, to see where they attack this particular zone, if they'll come to the right side. I think that from the right side, from the middle safety to Larry Utek is wide open.
And we're not singling out Larry Utek at all. It's just that zone is tough to play when you've got so many talented receivers.
Exactly, Russ.
Oh, and over the middle. Was nearly picked off down there at the 50-yard line. Tom Cousineau with a glorious opportunity. He still can't believe it.
But again, the situation that they're not getting to Warren Moon, and the receiver was in behind the linebacker. You can see where they're trying to hit in there. Proudfoot was around there, but if Cousineau does not get up and knock that ball down, the reception would have been made in behind those linebackers, and they're getting enough time to find the holes and spread that zone out. Let's go down to Don Whitman.
Pete Laverato, it seems the momentum is changing. Do you agree?
Well, it's changed every play almost. It's just a hell of a game.
A lot of hard hitting out there.
This is the hardest hitting game I've been in my 5 years of CFL ball. That's the way it should be, though.
Penalty marker, Don, has been thrown. The ball was out of bounds. Utek appealing to the officials, but the official right there on the sideline threw the ball as the pattern was being run, and Utek was trailing the receiver downfield, John Konahowski.
Well, it's one of those calls that's very hard to make, and Larry was trying to maintain the good position on Konahowski, who's gone out to the sideline, then turned it upfield, and he probably got called for using the body to try and force Konahowski to the sideline. Maybe we'll get a look at it here as Warren Moon knew he was doing the out pattern, then turning it upfield, and he pushed before that time Konahowski out of bounds with the body.
That was it. Forced him out of bounds. That is Germany getting about 3 near the 47-yard line of Montreal, where Glenn Weir makes the tackle on him. It's going to be 2nd down and 7. We've got 11 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the Grey Cup game, regulation time. And the Eskimos with 10. Third quarter points against the Alouettes 3, lead at 17-9.
I think, Don, that the running plays are just token running plays that Edmonton is using now. It's strictly a passing game for them.
Russell, they're getting their 4 and 5 seconds. Why should they run the football anyway?
That's right. He's getting his time, Warren Moon. Flag has been thrown. Pass no good. Short of Kelly down there at the 35-yard line.
I think we're going to get a holding call against the Edmonton Eskimos.
Believe you're right.
Down. Fine, thank you. It'll be 3rd down, 3rd down.
They're going to decline. Here's referee Lauren Woods.
Holding. Edmonton number 67, declined.
Eric Upton, the left guard, being called for holding. He formerly from Ottawa. His dad was a pretty good football player as well. Played for the Ottawa Football Club. Right. Kelly coming in over the middle here. The ball was thrown just in front of him, but the holding had been called. Ball was catchable, though, Terry.
Yeah, it was.
We'll start deep when play resumes, and Grey Cup 79 for Montreal returns in just a moment.
The Boeing 747, the Boeing 727, the Boeing 707, the Boeing 737, and soon 2 new airplanes, the 757 and the 767. The Boeing family. The world's favorite way to fly.
The world feels a whole lot better when the people of the world all get together. The world feels a whole lot better when we all get together. Look!
It isn't such a big world.
See!
All the places and the faces.
All the loving and the laughter.
Bring us together and you'll see the world feels a whole lot better when the people of the world all get together.
Boeing jetliners have done more to jet the world together than anything ever made by man.
The world feels a whole lot better when we all get together.
Jim Germany with a 62-yard day so far for the Eskimos rushing. David Green, the big story for Montreal, with 116. First down Montreal from their 10-yard line, trailing 17-9. Here's Green for 5. About 7-8 yards. As he gets up near the 18-yard line, where Carl Cornell, number 39, made the stop. We have 9 minutes and 55 seconds to go, gentlemen. Tom
Cousineau.
Tom Cousineau, who is getting better every game. In fact, the Alouettes really feel he will not show his worth truly until next year, maybe the year after.
O'Leary leading this play, and Green just finding that seam off tackle, going in behind O'Leary, and he's had a lot of yards on that particular play this afternoon.
Second down, about 2.5. John O'Leary will have the first down as he gets across the 20-yard line. Cornell again with the tackle. Well, here's the passing story with the Eskimos taking definite charge now with all those receivers for Wilkie in the first half and now Moon in the second half to throw to. They're going to bring the sticks out to confirm whether or not this is a Montreal first down near the 20-yard line.
You have the feeling, Don, that Montreal is going to have to put that ball in the air a little bit right now. Maybe the play-action pass is going to O'Leary might be the answer at this stage because they've got to move that ball out of their own end. They cannot kick from their own end all the time and give Edmonton that good field position.
It is first down from just across the 20.
Montreal's taking too much time in developing their series of their downs. I know David Green's playing excellent foot, great running today, but they're taking too much time to move that ball down out of their own end.
And time is not on their side at the moment. For Baker, the ball behind him. He cannot recover in time to make the reception near the 35-yard line, with Joe Holloman right there with him.
Well, he did go with just a little play action on that rollout to O'Leary, and Baker had done a good job of pushing Joe Holloman deep and coming back, but the ball was thrown behind him, as you said, Don. It could have been a good first down for them, but he did get to the outside. Just a little fake inside to David Green, not O'Leary. O'Leary out there blocking as well, but Baker was wide open as he pushed Holloman deep in the man-to-man coverage. The ball just thrown behind him, but it would have been a big first down because that's what Montreal, I feel, has to do on first down more often.
Big play right here. The Alouettes want to keep this drive alive on 2nd and 10. Down to Baker. Flag is thrown. It'll be clipping Montreal likely. Baker has enough for the first down, but the Alouettes, I fear, have been called for clipping to bring it back. It was Ray Watford, number 52, trying to make the block on Butler to free Baker, and as a result, they'll bring it back. The Eskimos, I'm sure, will gladly accept.
Another penalty. Every time they've come up with a big play, they've got themselves in bad position because of penalties. And not good ones either. They've been kind of stupid penalties, and that's something that really will upset the coach.
Montreal, number 52.
That's who it was, Ray Watford. We'll see it happen right here, I think, Terry.
Sure, we'll take a good look. It was another razzle-dazzle. The same play they played earlier in the first quarter, but he wasn't passing this time. It wasn't much of a clip, but he got his hands out there and he interfered with him.
That's right. Interference from the back of the opponent, and that's just how the rule reads.
And Butler played it exceptionally well because he stayed outside. He knew he had to turn him back outside, and Watford had no chance to block him, and he just tried to get away with the little push, but the official was standing about 2 yards away from him.
So the Alouettes are back with his drive started at the 10-yard line, this time 2nd down and 20. It is too far for David Green. Or Larry Smith, it is, 36, out of bounds near the 25-yard line, and the Eskimos are about to get the ball back.
And in
8 minutes and 13 seconds remaining. Well, there's the helicopter over Olympic Stadium. It is providing this sensational picture for you this afternoon. Just great work, guys.
Isn't that just some picture, though?
Wow.
Why don't you just give it to him?
I'm sure they must
when they put the roof on, Russ, it'll spoil that shot.
I'm sure they must have had a great view of that halftime show as well from up there.
I'm sure. So it's Wally Buono now. That little dot you see down there, stepping back into the end zone. There's a better view of him. To punt it away on 3rd down and 20. A good kick by Wally Buono across midfield to Butler at the Eskimo 50-yard line. And good coverage by the Owls to contain Butler at center field. Right now, let's join Bill Stevenson.
This is Canada's outstanding football player, David Green. David, that Montreal or that Edmonton defense is extremely tough.
Well, I'll tell you, if we can cut down on a few of the penalties, I think we can make the drive and score and beat them. Not that tough, you know. They're giving us a fit, though, as far as rushing the quarterback is concerned. But if we cut down on those penalties, I think we can beat them.
You think you can run on them, do you?
Oh, sure, yeah. I think so.
Thank you very much, David Green. All right, Don.
Bill, here is Jim Germany getting a couple near the 53-yard line of the Montreal Alouettes. The Tom Cousineau, number 45, meets him midway through the final quarter. This is Grey Cup 79 from Montreal.
A few years ago, this fish cannery near Bella Bella on Queen Charlotte Sound was in danger of closing.
Well, it meant jobs for 100 people, so a group of us decided to form a cooperative and bank.
Thanks to men like Neil Arnett of the Royal Bank, the Central Native Co-op became a reality, and now a further expansion is successfully underway. The Royal Bank believes in cooperatives and in cooperation. Royal Bank, when you succeed, we succeed.
That's what it's all about, folks. The Grey Cup. 65,000 people here at Olympic Stadium. Millions more across the country as the Edmonton Eskimos right now have a pretty good grip on it, 17-9, with 7 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. In Germany, stopped well short of the first down. Rolled back by Cousineau and Junior IU. So the Eskimo drive stalls, and Montreal will get the ball back. Terry and Russ were saying a moment ago while we left you just for a minute, but nobody wants to make a mistake right now because the next big play, the next big turnover certainly could spell the outcome of this game.
We're seeing more of a conservative game right now, and you're right, Don. They don't want to turn the ball over. And you can take a look at it here. Tom Cousineau makes an excellent tackle, sheds off the block of Eric Upton, and it's something to do with misdirection plays. You're not going to fool a Cousineau. That's his best sport, reading the backfield, his key, the fullback.
Here is Hank Alisic. Hangs it high and out of bounds. And a market in the area, it appears, of the 11-yard line for the Alouette first down. Back very close to where they were in the previous series of plays. The 41-yard punt, but it went out of bounds. It cost Alisic about 10 or 15 yards. Well, comparison time again. And again, it's very close in first downs. Montreal with a rushing game and the Eskimos with the passing game. And that's been the story, the way it was expected to go.
Don, that's the way we expected it to go, although we didn't think that David Green would be able to run as well as he has against this Edmonton defense. But again, as I mentioned in the last series, I feel Montreal has to go with some play action on first down. They are in a rather tough spot on their 11-yard line.
Eskimos with a four-man line against the Owls on first down. Joe Barnes getting out of trouble. Takes it up for a Montreal first down to the 25-yard line.
Well, there was the play action we expected possibly, but Joe Barnes got away from the rush. They did not go for the play action and had the good pressure on him and made the first down. He does give the little hand fake in there to O'Leary and goes back, but Este, who's now out as that defensive end, just ran around hole number 66 and put the pressure on Barnes, but couldn't bring him down, and Joe went upfield and got the big first down, about 14 yards.
This is David Green for 10. 15-yard fumbles the football. Montreal gets it back, an extra 5 yards on the fumble. There is a break that Huey Campbell, I know, wishes had gone the other way, but it came so close to an Edmonton turnover. Here it is.
Boy, we got it right here. First off, you don't get Joe Barnes on the rush. To come back, David Green hits up inside. The best power runner in Canadian football right now, breaking tackles left and right, comes in, lowers his head. Peter Labrado strips the football, bounces around.
Butler had it, too, for a moment.
Yes, he did.
But Doug Payton made the recovery, so the Alouette drive will continue. Barnes on the sidelines to Bob Gaddis at the Edmonton 51. Another Montreal first down. There are a lot of moms watching all over the country, and I know they're enjoying this game as much as we are here today. Here's the play with Joe Barnes unloading to Gaddis.
Well, Joe Barnes rolling to the outside. Nobody near him to put any pressure on him, and Gaddis found the hole in between Jones and Highbaugh. In isolation, we see him go down there. He slipped just a little bit, but he found that particular spot. It's between Butler and Highbaugh, and got the first down, and this crowd's starting to come alive again.
They are with 4:40 remaining. 17-9 Edmonton. Quick pop over the center for Dalla Riva, got knocked away.
Ron Esk Este, number 55, up in the air to knock that ball down. Pete Laverado, number 7 on the ground out there, a little hurt, as we see on a replay. Este, who's now in playing that middle guard on the 3-man line. It was not him that got up there. It was actually number 42, Dan Kepley, who knocked the ball down.
First pass to Del Rivo all day, and the defensive back will know it. Peter now starts to make a move off that line of scrimmage. He knows now he's a primary receiver, and he's going to play him up tight.
Laverado's all right. He's staying in there at 2nd down and 10. But Del Rivo popped out of his hands into the arms of Butler, and the Eskimos for a turnover. Now here's a penalty marker being thrown.
Well, I'm not sure who's going to get the penalty. It seemed like Montreal maybe came in a little late. Then Carl Cornell came in, and now we got a little bit of a problem on the field, which is unfortunate in a game like this. And Coach Joe Scannella is out there trying to get everybody out of there, and he's doing the right thing by saying, come on, get out of here, guys. Let's go. And we got another fight.
Well, the emotions naturally run high, and the frustrations peak this late in the game with 4:13 left. As the coaches, as you say, Scannella and Campbell taking a look out in that area, and the officials are finally separating the players. Nothing more than a lot of pushing and shoving, and I'm sure the odd uncomplimentary remark.
What do you have?
And the officials now will sort this one out.
But Roland Mangold came in a little late, I felt, but then Carl Cornell came in after him to hit Mangold, feeling he had hit a little late. So I'm not sure what it's going to be. We'll have to wait for the officials. Lauren Woods conferring with his crew to find out exactly what penalties we will have.
Rush, you know, Montreal has always been a very physical team, and if they can intimidate you, they like to do it at this type of time of the game. They figure, not bad field position, take it to you. Let's listen to Lauren right now.
Okay, we got unnecessary roughness. We're what? Montreal number 58. Okay? We have unnecessary roughness. Edmonton, unnecessary roughness. Okay, Edmonton. We got.
Is that one each way?
Sounds like that.
Well, we know we've got Mangold, number 58, but then I'm not sure whether they called Carl Cornell. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's only going against the Alouettes, and Carl Cornell came in after Mangold had come in. But again, a penalty hurting the Alouettes here. Very important with the intercept and the penalty.
Let's take a look at it now. Let's see the thing develop. Peter Del Rivo with a catchable ball. It got out of his hands. Butler comes up with it.
There's the stick right there.
So it is one penalty against Montreal, and a big one following the interception. It takes him to the 51-yard line. We have 4 minutes, 5 seconds left now. Edmonton leads 17-9. Germany, maybe a yard of the 50. Willie Hampton, number 62, made the tackle on him. The Eskimos want to grind it out now and kill some of this time, as you see David Green there waiting for his chance again to the Montreal bench.
Terry, you're not a little surprised that Edmonton isn't putting the ball in the air, because they've had so much success and they're trying to control the game by running, and yet they controlled it in the best part of this second half, especially the entire third quarter, by throwing it.
Russ, all season long, they've passed first down, run second. If they get first and 3, well, then they'll run. But this way, they've just reversed their field, and I am surprised with them.
Well, as you said earlier, you can sense they're being a little conservative here, a little careful. Here's Moon. Nowhere near the first down. In fact, just back to the line of scrimmage where Wally Duano hauled him down. It's going to be 3rd down with a better part of 10.
And again, he rolled out with strictly run in mind. He did not take any depth on the rollout. He's tucking that ball in right now, and he isn't looking downfield to throw it. That was designed run from the time he took the ball from the center. And again, when they had so much success throwing it downfield, I'm surprised.
Well, you see it in all kinds of sports. In hockey, certainly, when a team sits back at a 2-goal lead, it'll backfire. Right now, it is going to give Montreal one more chance for a drive. Here is Dickie Harris joins Keith Baker back near the goal area. Here's the rush on Olysek. He didn't get much of it. It bounces out of bounds at the Edmonton bench, and Montreal improves their field position tremendously. The Alouettes will be across the 35-yard line. Grey Cup 79 from Montreal will return in just a moment.
Follow me, take my
guys. Tony Proudfoot got a piece of the football. Number 23, deflecting it across field to the 37-yard line. And that is the second-best start for a Montreal drive in the entire game. Barnes for Gaddis, can't get it to him. Larry Highball, the coverage on Bob Gaddis at center field. That has been the story, really, in this half. But the Eskimos, with a conservative offense, as we have stated, content to let the Alouettes start very, very deep, as they have, with the confidence that they can stop their drive at center field or better. And in most cases, that has been true.
Don, they haven't been coming up with that important second down pass play. The Montreal receivers are different than the Edmonton receivers. They're not real good pattern runners. A lot of speed, but not good pattern runners.
Here's a big conversion attempt on second down right now. Gaddis dropped the ball at center field. That was catchable. Larry Highball there to put some pressure on him, but Bob Gaddis had it in his hands. But now it's third down and 10.
They came back with exactly the same play they had run previously. They did not get the ball to Gaddis because he slipped, and Highball slipped trying to come up there, and Barnes didn't throw it that well. This time Gaddis ran deep, got Highball pushed off, just didn't make the catch.
No, Russ, an important thing is here, he jumps when he doesn't have to jump.
Right.
He loses some of that concentration. Keep your feet on the ground. Coaches will always tell you, keep your balance down, get your hands out and catch that football, not with your body.
And he could have maintained the good position on the ball with Highball in behind him. Good point.
2.5 minutes left. The Alouettes must give it back once more. Another fine effort by Wally Buono. Butler back at his 23-yard line will reach the area of the 29. A 50-yard punt by Buono. Coverage by DeTilio and McMahon. And as Terry said a moment ago, the special teams both ways have been outstanding in this Grey Cup game.
Well, Marv Levy, when he was in Montreal, brought the special teams to a high percentage point with Montreal. They just carried on. Excellent athletes. Big pressure people. They come and they play well in the big games. And today they brought their best special teams, I think, all season long.
The Eskimos will start from the 29 with 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. The clock will start on the snap of the ball. Jim Germany. No gain. Out of bounds. Far sideline.
And you want to keep that ball on the playing field because the clock will stop now, and that's exactly what the Alouettes want to happen. You might as well throw the ball downfield if you're going to do that, because that only took two or three particular seconds. We're going to watch some line play. Ayu doing a good job of stringing this out with Burrow, and they forced Germany out of bounds, which is, as I say, exactly what the Alouettes want.
Well, the Eskimos content to run. The Alouettes intent on throwing, but Joe Barnes has struck out his last 5 pass attempts, and the Eskimos certainly are not moving it with the running game. This is second down, about 9. Oops. Early movement there by Gordy Judges. Germany is contained short of the 35-yard line, but the Eskimos should be getting 5 here on an offside penalty against the Als. We're down to the final 2 minutes and 10 seconds of the game.
And it's really interesting, having been there, Don, to see the emotion in the faces of these particular players. Gordon Woods will tell us, I'm sure, that there was offside.
Offside, Montreal number 75.
That was Gordy Judges.
And, Don, the emotion really comes out now because it is a close ball game. They know that one play can turn this particular game around. The entire season is built around winning that old gray mug down there called the Grey Cup.
There's Gordy Judges. The Edmonton trainers are out there now attending to Jim Germany, who went down, got up, and back down again. And, of course, he has represented almost the entire Eskimo offense for half this quarter as they have kept a low profile, protecting a 17-9 lead. Look at that last play along the line again. Gordy Judges with the early movement just to the left of your screen for the offside. Canada have 4 members going to the Hall of Fame. Al Walker, Baz O'Meara, Montreal star Ted Reeve, great writer in Toronto for many years, Ivan Miller of Hamilton, all have joined the Canadian Football Hall of Fame as Football Reporters of Canada members. Jim Germany now, still some difficulty as he finds his way across field to the Eskimo bench. Right now, let's go down and join Bill.
Larry Smith is with me. Larry, things look a little bleak, but how's the feeling on the bench?
Well, we're still optimistic. We have to get the ball back, and hopefully with about a minute and a half, and we have to just score a touchdown and get a safety touch, and that's our only hope.
So you still think you got the chance?
Well, the game isn't over yet, and we always have a chance.
All right. Thank you, Larry Smith.
Second down and 4. Warren Moon is close to that first down marker, but I think he's going to be short by a yard and a half or so. He was contained by Tom Cousineau, number 45, and Tony Proudfoot, number 23. And indeed, the Eskimo punting team trots on.
Don, a real good defensive play by Cousineau and the rest of the deep secondary, because Warren Moon came out there and he delayed just a little bit too long to get the first down. If he turned it upfield a little sooner, I think he might have found the seam before Cousineau got out there, but it was roll all the way, and the receivers had gone downfield, but Cousineau had enough time to get out there and make the good hit from the inside.
Well, Proudfoot got a piece of Illicic's last effort. Let's see if the Alouettes are going for it here with 1:53 remaining. Here they come. He's got it away.
Great kick, too.
High, way down to the 25-yard line for Baker. A flag has been thrown as Baker finds some good field position. Keith Baker. Baker's into the end zone, but I think it's going to be called back. There was a penalty marker down for what appeared to be a Montreal clip.
Well, it was a definite clip, Don. There was no question about it, and the players who were back in the area knew before Baker really turned it downfield. He didn't know because he was running with the ball. But that really turned the fans on, that long return, but the fans are booing.
91 yards wiped out on this call.
Montreal, number 9.
Jerry DiTilio is called for clipping. It wipes out a 91-yard touchdown return.
And Jerry DiTilio knew that because as Baker was running downfield, he was walking off the field dejected. But the clip is going to... There it is right there. It happened long before Baker had broken into clear. The flag had been thrown now, and you might have almost called another clip there, but the guy didn't have the flag to throw. But Jerry DiTilio, about this time, is walking off the field dejected because he knew he'd thrown a clip that's going to call this thing all back. Fans are upset, but a great call by the officials. They have to make them.
The call was there. You're right. It had to be made, but heartbreak for the Alouettes and their supporters. The thought that Baker had run them right back into this Grey Cup game. And there, it tells you how the Alouettes feel about this latest turn of events. Jerry Friesen.
Almost looks like he's going to break out in tears.
Jerry Friesen is down out there, receiving attention. The other players not dressed for Montreal, sharing in the emotion of the moment here. Friesen from Saskatchewan will be helped off now, and Joe Scudella will be thinking about that clipping call, as will Jerry DiTilio for many, many months to come. But as you said, Russ, Terry agrees. No question about the infraction.
It's going to come up right now. There it is on Laverato, number 7. And that actually, as much as you say, well, it might have been a good block, helped spring him because Laverato's the contained man, and he had good position to make the tackle on Baker had he not been clipped.
The Alouettes are back at the 12-yard line. First down. Barnes out to David Green. And Green takes it up near the 30-yard line. That will be another first down for Montreal. But the penalties indeed have hurt the Alouettes with 122 yards in 14 calls.
Well, Joe Barnes not getting any pressure. Edmonton knows he's going to throw. They're going to give him the short situations. This time dumping it off to the backfielder, David Green, who made the first down, and they're going now without a huddle.
Alouettes coming out quickly. Here's Barnes getting pressure, but away. And he had to throw quickly and could not get it to John O'Leary. Underthrew him. 1 minute, 9 seconds left. 17-9 Edmonton.
Well, both Dave Fennell and David Boone, number 64 and 5, had a shot at Joe Barnes. He got away from them, and it was Este that finally put the hit on him as he threw that ball and stopped the clock, and that again is important.
The final minute, I want to thank our CBC crew in the East this year for their great work all season. And again today, spotter Art Darch, our statisticians Doug Kelcher, John Pickett, A great job, guys. A great season of football it's been. Down to its final minute, perhaps, at least in regulation time right now. Barnes can't find Baker. It's going to be third down, Montreal.
Well, with 1 minute to go, the flag just went up. You have to look for the Alouettes to go on a third down situation. They cannot afford to give the ball back to the Eskimos because they could probably run the clock out. And we see that we have a record crowd here. It's a full house, over 65,000.
Something very important for the Montreal franchise. They have an outstanding defense, outstanding special teams. The player of the year in David Green. They don't have a passing attack, and it's evident now. Otherwise, it could have been a different ball game.
The football reporters have chosen the three outstanding players in this game. We'll tell you about them as soon as this play wraps up, because it's a very big one, perhaps the last chance for the Montreal Alouettes. Third down from their 30-yard line. And that could be it as the ball pops free. The Eskimos will take over on downs at the 29-yard line with 52 seconds remaining. And the Eskimos are that much time away from claiming a Grey Cup. And ironically, the three outstanding players in the game are all Montreal players. David Green, the offensive player of the game. Tom Cousineau is the defensive player. There is David Green. And the Canadian of the game is Don Sweet. So David Green puts an outstanding player in the Grey Cup award to go alongside his outstanding player in the country award, which he claimed earlier this week. But the Eskimos are just seconds away from the Grey Cup.
And Don, having been there, I'm sure the Edmonton Eskimos are much happier taking the Grey Cup home than a couple of cards. Not that there's anything wrong with winning those cards.
They will simply grind down as many seconds as they can. And right now they take it down to 49 as the ball is grounded back at the 35-yard line. Tom Wilkinson, as you saw, back in for this series. Warren Moon took the Eskimos through the entire second half until this point, after Wilkie quarterbacked them in the first half. The story was Edmonton's Tommy Scott with a key touchdown to give the Eskimos the lead they had relinquished ever so briefly. They got 10 points in the third quarter. The Alouettes 3. This fourth quarter has been scoreless. Down goes Wilkie again, giving up yardage every time, but getting it down to 26 seconds.
Don, some of the people might wonder why he's going back so far, but you realize that if he goes down on his knee, they stop the clock right then. So he's trying to get a bit more than just the time in the huddle by dragging it back just a little bit. And we have 26 seconds left on the clock, and they cannot run it out. So I feel they're probably going to punt that ball.
Here comes Hank Olisic, set in by that man, Hugh Campbell. Looking for his second consecutive Grey Cup victory here after the 20-13 win the Eskimos chalked up last year in Toronto, leading by 8 points, 17-9 at the moment. 26 seconds left, and the countdown begins. The clock is moving. Ricky Harris is the only man back. The Alouettes will all be coming here. 7 seconds remaining. Almost blocked just away from Olisic. At the goal line, Ricky Harris. He's all wrapped up, and so is the Grey Cup for the Edmonton Eskimos. 2 in a row for Campbell's Eskimos, winning at 17-9 over the hometown Montreal Alouettes before 65,000 at the Big O today.
And Don, even though the score was 17-9, I had the feeling that the Edmonton Eskimos, if they had to score some points and put the ball in the air a little bit more in that fourth quarter, were capable of doing it offensively today.
David Green was all Montreal. You can't ask one player to move an entire team. They've got to get some pass receivers. They've got to get a new passing theory to go along with all those other outstanding aspects of their team, and then they will be there next year. If they don't, they're not going to be there.
Well, Hugh Campbell goes to the pass. He's told us so often because he has the personnel for it. And, of course, with John O'Leary and David Green, there's no question Joe Scannella has the personnel for a great running game, but the passing game beat that running game today. The Alouettes with a near break for the touchdown by Baker, called back by Natilio's clip, made it exciting, but they could not handle the Western and now the national champions of 1979, the Edmonton Eskimos. There is the Prime Minister, the Premier of Alberta you saw, and Jake Goddard getting ready for the presentation of the 1979 Grey Cup.
Don, you have to give a lot of credit to both these clubs. They've been outstanding and put on just a great game for us this afternoon. There was a lot of offense, and it was very moving to see the entire ball game played. There were a lot of penalties, but it was a real ball game throughout 60 minutes.
Now we will have the Grey Cup presentation from the Prime Minister. Many of the Eskimos have gone inside. We hope to be talking with them in just a few minutes. Of course, the co-captains are out there to accept the Grey Cup. There it is, heading west once again. Dan Kepley, Tom Wilkinson sharing it right now. Larry Highbar with his hands on it, and that'll be passed around, I'm sure.
And it won't be empty when it's passed around.
Containing the proper ingredients, I might add, in just a very short time. Tom Wilkinson, is this the end for him? 1979, his second straight Grey Cup, going to cap it after a super career, or will he go on, Terry?
Oh, he's got to go on. He's the master. He makes that team really move. They're bringing Warren Moon along slowly, and it's because of his experience that they can do that. Edmonton knows that in Canadian football, you have to pass the football, and they got two people that can do it as well as anybody.
Well, that's a happy bunch you see filing in. We'll get to them a little later on, but right now, let's get over to Tom McKee. Thomas?
Well, thank you very much, Don Chevrier. Job well done. As you could see, the players filing into their dressing room. They're very happy. Grey Cup champion Edmonton Eskimos. We have our equipment set up down there, and in just a few minutes, at the request of Edmonton, they want a few moments to themselves, and certainly we respect that request. We will be going down there with Bill Stevenson and Don Whitman to talk to some of the players and have the outstanding player offense and defense, along with outstanding Canadian player awards. Ironically, they all go to Montreal Alouettes, David Green, Tom Cousineau, and Don Sweet. Grey Cup 79 will continue in just a moment.
Lead you to the light. If you're gonna break new ground, you better do it right. There's a brand new way of doing things, and Buick's got the news. Car dealers, Buick car dealers, car dealers, Buick car dealers.
Buick takes over the 80s with cars built for a changing world. LeSabre, restyled, reduced in weight, room for 6. Regal, trim, poised, bursting with vitality. A 4-door Century with a whole new formal look for the 80s. Go for it. And of course, the unique Riviera with front-wheel drive. New times, new Buicks.
Car dealers, Buick car dealers, car dealers, Buick car dealers.
New Envirolite plastic finish, a breakthrough in coatings. Envirolite gives rugged protection to wood, metal, anything paintable, indoors or outdoors. In tests by an independent laboratory, Envirolite outperformed all these popular enamels. Envirolite dries up to 7 times harder. It holds its high gloss up to 5 times longer. And unlike these enamels, Envirolite even washes up with water. New Envirolite, in a class by itself.
Cutting out, I'm moving out of here. What a week, cutting out for some good times. Me and my fishing gear, gonna spend some time my way. Really glad I'm here.
Canada's great tasting ale. What a beer to share.
Me and the boys in our 50. Me and the boys and our beer.
Back at Olympic Stadium, Don Whitman is standing by with the Grey Cup winning coach, Hugh Campbell.
Hugh, congratulations. Hugh, congratulations on your second Grey Cup victory. 17-9, the final score. A really tough, hard-hitting ball game all the way.
Oh, my goodness, it sure was. And I think we made a mistake. We crawled in our shell a little bit early there at the end, but it came out right for us. Montreal gave us all we could possibly handle and still win the football game. I was thankful that good officiating that they saw. There were 2 clips on that punt return. I'm glad they caught one of them anyway.
I don't think there was any doubt about the 2 clips. Illicik was the other one who got bowled over after the initial clip had been made.
That's right.
Some of the fans weren't particularly pleased, but I don't think there's much doubt.
Well, this is what I would like to emphasize, how tough it is to win a Grey Cup in somebody else's stadium. It hasn't been done in modern history. No visiting team has won a Grey Cup. So we've won 2 in a row, but this one was much, much tougher than last year's when we played it on a more or less a neutral field.
Huey, a great advantage having a second quarterback who can go in and direct an attack such as Warren Moon did when he was called in from the bullpen.
Yeah, second in numbers, not in level, where they're both first-string quarterbacks. And it gives us a great alternative. And Wilkie was ready to go back in and anxious to go back in if the situation had demanded it, but it didn't. And I thought Warren just stood in beautifully and threw the ball just as well as Wilkie did the first quarter.
Hugh Campbell, congratulations on a second Grey Cup victory. Now Bill Stevenson is standing by with Waddell Smith, the man who scored the initial touchdown.
All right, let's bring up Waddell Smith, who is also the outstanding player in Western Canada, runner-up in the Shenley Award. Waddell, this was a highly emotional game and a big victory.
Well, this is the thing that we set out for at the beginning of the season, and I think that's the only thing anyone should try to predict that they can win or wants to win is the Grey Cup. It is the thing of professional excellence. And the team that is excellent won.
That's right. Waddell, tell us how you scored that first touchdown. That was a very big one.
Well, just caught it and ran. I was a little lucky. The right place at the right time.
How were they covering it, the Montreal defense?
Well, in certain situations, they doubled me, put a man on the line of scrimmage to bump me, to throw me off my pattern. But with our playbook and our coaching staff, they came up with something to get me free in order to open up the other receivers. And the receivers played a fine game today.
Well, the game as tough as you thought it would be?
Yes. At Montreal, what can you say about them other than they are a good team? It was, our offensive line, I like to say, probably played the best game of the season. They came off the ball, and it was bite or get bit.
All right. Waddell Smith, congratulations.
I'd like to say hello to Susan and Todd Cook back there in Edmonton, and I hope we'll be home soon.
All right, we were looking for you. Whit, take over.
That saves the cost of a phone call, doesn't it? Dave Fennell had a lot more problems opening this bottle of champagne than he did with that Montreal Alouette offensive line today, but that was really a tough, hard-hitting ball, Dave.
It was a very physical game. They were very determined to win, and we were just as determined to stop them. And unfortunately, things came our way. I can just say that we played with a hell of a group of football players, and I just thank God that I'm on this team.
Quite a week for you. There's another Shenley Award and a Grey Cup victory.
Well, this was what we came here for, and boy, does that make me feel happy.
Quite a different ball game from the Thanksgiving Day game where you ran them out of the park 47-6.
Well, Montreal is a veteran team, and they got a lot of pride, and they were sure not going to let that happen to them today. So we knew we were going to be in for a knuckle duster, and luckily we came out on top.
Dave, Joe Barnes started off very strongly the first play of the game. He ran with the ball, an indication of the type of game he was going to have.
Well, he was prepared to sacrifice himself for the good of his team today, and that was one of those things that we had to cope with, and I have to congratulate Joe for his excellent effort.
Dave Fennell, congratulations on your Shenley Award and also on your Grey Cup victory. Okay, Bill Stevenson, who have you got?
Who have I got? I've got Dan Kepley, and he's got a bottle of champagne he's working on here. All right.
It feels good. And it feels good.
Dan?
It feels so good.
Does it feel great?
Feels great. We had a slow first half. We came back, had a little trouble with the running game, shutting them down early. David ran hard. He ran really hard. You got to give him a lot of credit. He's the best runner. But we came back. I got to say hello, I promise. All the fellas at the point after back there. And this is a special toast to all the Oilers, Eddie Meal and Gretzky and Chipperfield, all those.
You think the place might jump a little bit tonight?
I think this whole city, Montreal's not big enough for us tonight. I'll say that right now.
Dan Kepley, congratulations. All right, Whit, take it away.
Eric Upton, congratulations not only on the Grey Cup victory, but your selection as an All-Star guard.
Oh, thanks very much. I don't know. It couldn't be a better year for me. Winning the Grey Cup and being an All-Star, it's everything I ever wanted. This year has just topped everything off.
It was a tough ball game.
I'll tell you, they're a tough team. They're a good team defensively, and they come on hard. It was just a matter of us just getting it together. I knew we could do it. It was a matter of just doing it, and we did it.
You have a great situation where you have two people who can come in and replace each other in your quarterbacks. Tom Wilkinson started. He was having some problems, and the Mad Bomber came on and took over.
Well, you know, Tom, he's a master of everything. Okay? When he comes in, you know he's going to be thinking, you know he's going to be doing stuff, and he got us that first touchdown. He got the ball moving. We knew we were going to be able to move it on him. And when Warren comes in, you know he's going to start throwing. He's going to change the whole complexion of the game, and that means the defense is going to have to change. So that's all we did. We just did that, moving around, and every time they switch to the quarterbacks, we're used to that now, so it's all right.
Well, you had a tough defensive struggle last week against the Calgary Stampeders and winning the Western Championship. Another tough struggle again today, but you fellas came through. And as I said to Dave Fennell, quite a different ball game from that Thanksgiving Day game.
Yeah, it was in a way, but both of them were tough. I mean, I think if we're going to win it, we want to win in a game like that. I mean, those are the kind of games you just go for. You know, you want to win it. You don't want to blow everybody off the field.
I think you'd like to be leading about 35-0 at halftime, wouldn't you?
It'd make us feel more comfortable, maybe, but I think I like those kind of ball games. Nice and close all the way to the end. And I want to say hi to everybody in Ottawa and hi to everybody in Edmonton sitting there watching the game. It was just great.
The telephone company aren't going to be pleased with all these free messages being passed along, Bill. Okay, Bill Stevenson.
All right, I've got Tom Wilkinson. Wilkie, this is the culmination of another great season for you, and as you predicted, a very tough ball game.
Well, that's right, Bill. You know, when we come into this game, we knew that they were a very good football team. We played them earlier in the year and beat them by a lot of points, only because we got a couple breaks early in the game, and then it was catch-up football, and we knew it would be a very, very physical football game, and that's the way it was.
There is rather a sour note, I know, and that's the fact that you win the Grey Cup and you don't win the special awards. That makes you feel a little unhappy.
Well, just, you know, I thought, like, Don Sweet kicked all their points, you know. I thought he'd be deserving, and I think Green played very, very well, but I felt, you know, with our defense not letting them get any touchdowns, there's somebody out there must have shined pretty good. That's all, you know, not taking away anything. I just felt we must have somebody.
Tom, is this liable to be your last season?
Well, I'll wait and think about it. It's certainly getting closer all the time, but I'd like to take this time to say hi to my kids and my mom, and then I've got some relatives in Montana that went down and watched the game, and especially Tracy. I got to say hi to Tracy. And then a young friend of mine, Mark, I want to say hi to him. It's his birthday coming up, and I'm happier than you can believe.
All right. Well, it's been quite a career, quite a season. Congratulations on a great Grey Cup.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tom Wilkinson. And now let's go to Tom McKee.
Okay, thank you very much, Bill. They're having a lot of fun down there, and justifiably so. A hard-nosed football game this afternoon. It's almost a little frustrating, perhaps, that there really had to be a winner. Maybe both teams are winners, who knows. We'll be back in just a moment. You are watching Grey Cup 79. Let's pause for these words.
We took your favorite full-size car, the new Chevrolet, and made it right for the 80s in Chevrolet's kind of way.
The 1980 Chevrolet Caprice and Impala, new aerodynamic design, new V6 engine, and new tire technology, and the best fuel efficiency estimates ever in a full-size Chevrolet. Right for the 80s, right for you.
New Chevrolet.
At General Motors, we're committed to leadership in fuel efficiency.
Pour your friends something extra. John Labatt's Extra Stock. A premium quality brew you can be proud to serve because it's mellow to the taste and smooth going down. John Labatt's Extra Stock. Something extra for our friends from Labatt's.
Well, apart from the Grey Cup, individual awards in this 1979 game. And to assist me with the presentation, my confrère from the CBC French Network, Guy Lecavier.
Eh bien, pour les trophées individuels, nous allons tout d'abord commencer par les joueurs par excellence à l'attaque et à la défensive. First, for the individual awards, we'll go to the offensive and defensive outstanding players. The Labatt's Awards will be presented by Mr. Pierre Desjardins, President for Labatt's Brewery for Eastern Canada. La présentation du trophée aux joueurs le plus utile à l'attaque et à la défensive sera faite par un ancien Alouette de Montréal, M. Pierre Desjardins. Donc, the offensive outstanding player of the game, David Green.
Au nom de la brasserie Labatt, il nous fait un grand plaisir de présenter ces trophées. On behalf of Labatt Breweries, Dave, it's an extreme pleasure to present you with the most outstanding offensive player of the game. Congratulations. Thank you. And with that, I give you the keys to your Monte Carlo this year. Hope you enjoyed the ride. Okay?
David, congratulations on your selection. A tough, hard-hitting ball game. I know you're disappointed at the loss.
Oh, yeah, I'm very, very disappointed.
You can look forward to next year. What happened to the shoulder? Were you injured in the ball game?
Oh, no, it was an injury in the Hamilton game. You know, after every game, I always ice it down and make sure it'll be all right for the next week, but it's over.
All right, now we'll call again on Mr. Pierre Desjardins.
Tom, on behalf of Labatt Breweries, we congratulate you for winning the award, most outstanding defensive player of the game. Congratulations. Here's the keys to your card. We hope you enjoy it. Congratulations again.
Tom Cousineau, your reaction to the game?
Well, I'm just thrilled to have had the chance to play in a great game like this. It's what it's all about. You know, that's what football is all about. Boils down to a championship game, and you know, you can't take anything away from Edmonton. They played great. We played great in spots where we made some big mistakes that really hurt us. But you know, I believe you make your own breaks, and Edmonton forced us into making some mistakes, and all the credit in the world to them.
Okay. Donc, le joueur défensif par excellence qui a été Tom Cousineau, secondaire intérieur, qui a rendu crédit aux Esquimaux d'Edmonton pour leur victoire. Il y a également un autre trophée, celui du joueur canadien par excellence lors de cette rencontre, le trophée Duck Suderman CPR. The best Canadian player of the game will receive the CPR and Dick Suderman trophy, and Mr. Ed Ogden, Vice President for CPR, will present the trophy to Don Sweet from the Montreal Alouettes. Don Sweet est le vainqueur du meilleur joueur canadien.
Don Sweet, congratulations. The trophy being presented.
Congratulate you again, Don. This is the third time in 6 years you've won the Dick Suderman Award, donated by Canadian Pacific. And I certainly want to congratulate you. And also, here's a couple of tickets anywhere in CPR's system that you want to go in the next couple of years.
That's great.
All the best to you.
Thank you very much. I didn't hear what the other fellow said, but I'm sure they must have said something along the same lines, that we'd rather have this another cup. I'm sure they did say something like that. I'd like to say that this here is really a team trophy. I'm very happy to receive it. I think it was a great game that we put on, or a good show for the Canadian people. I just praise God for being able to play this game like all other people, all other Christians. And winning isn't always what we do on the field, it's just the end result in this case. And I feel it's the same way, as that if we put our best effort into it and play our best. But on behalf of the Alouettes, I accept this award.
Don Sweet, prior to the game when I talked with you, you said I'd sooner let Dave Cutler kick all the field goals. I'd like to kick about 6 point afters. That really didn't happen today, unfortunately.
I said he could have 5 field goals, and I'll take 5 extra points. So it didn't work out that way. By the way, say hello to my buddies in Vancouver. They know who I am, and especially the old fire hall out in Richmond. Okay.
Well, everybody's saying hello and passing on messages. Again, Don Sweet, congratulations. Let's now go over to Bill Stevenson.
All right, let's bring John Konowski in here. Come on, step up, and here's another great Canadian receiver for the Edmonton Eskimos. This was a ball game that turned out to be an excellent Grey Cup. Many people said it would be lopsided. It was anything but.
We've played against Montreal in the Grey Cup before, and we know they're a Grey Cup team. We beat them quite badly in Edmonton, but I know they came up big in the first half and the second half, defensively, offensively. We had a few bad breaks. We finally made things happen in the second half, or the third quarter, and things worked out okay. But personally, I played a bad game, but the rest of the team played a good game, and I take nothing away from Montreal at all.
What makes you think it played a bad
some water
game?
on your head. Personally, I missed the first 2 balls, and I'm not usually like that. I had a good weekend last weekend and brought the team through. Looks like you got something dripping from your ears there, boss.
It's called champagne.
It's good champagne. It's good for you.
As Tom Wilkinson says, it should be in the mouth. There it is.
There it is. I got stuck that
John,
way.
the team effort is the thing that's important.
That's right. We have a good team, and we've had a solid team all year. The coaches, right up to the management, right down to the ball boys. We're all together, and I'm glad to be part of this team.
Thank you very much. John Konowski, our congratulations. Now let's go upstairs to Don Chevrier and Russ Jackson.
All right, we're totally safe. No champagne up here, Russ.
Too bad.
A great football game, though. Really, many said the Eskimos would trample them, and in some areas of the game they did. But the one thing the Eskimos could not do was prevent David Green from getting some personal revenge for what happened to him in the 1978 Grey Cup game. Green, not very effective that day, said, I have to have a good Grey Cup day. He had a good game, a great game, but not enough to pull the Alouettes through.
Well, in the third quarter, he ran well, and he kept Montreal close. This time, Ron Este, who alternated from playing defensive end to that middle guard position on that 3-4 defense we heard so much about, took an inside rush. He penetrated well into the offensive backfield, but took the inside rush. And with David Green, with the great speed he has, he just gave him that loose leg and went around to the outside and went upfield for one of the many gains. He got 139 in 21 carries, but he proved he's the best runner in Canada right now. And I think in a game like this, after the emotional week of winning the Shenley Award, it's difficult to get yourself up. And he did do it, and he's been saying he can do it, and he lives up to everything he says.
You know, the surprising thing about the key touchdown that won this game for the Eskimos after Montreal had taken the lead, that is the touchdown scored by Tommy Scott, was that I thought it came at a time when the Eskimos are being contained very well. But suddenly, as the Esks have all year, one big play did it for them.
Well, Scott came in. They were giving good protection, and they pushed the offensive rush around him. He moved up into the pocket, Moon did, and Scott had ran into the middle. He'd moved into the middle, and there was sort of an inverted coverage with Harris having the short zone and UTEC having the deep outside zone. And as Scott came down and pushed to the inside, UTEC didn't get the outside position on him, and then when Scott turned it to the corner, he didn't have the position. Moon threw it to the outside, and UTEC just couldn't catch up with the play. And it's one of those things that happens, and it's not the defensive setup that Montreal likes to use. They like to have Larry UTEC in the short zone and Harris deep most of the time.
You know, we kept waiting. Terry Evanson referred to it. Could be a big turnover, a big moment. Almost happened when David Green lost control of the football for a moment, and then, luckily for the Alouettes, got it back, or at least the team did.
Well, in the fourth quarter, one of the few times they ran a trap straight up the middle, and he just seems to come out of the pile. This is that effort he has and that great balance that probably gained him 600 yards extra all year with the good balance he has. But he did get stripped of the ball here, and fortunately for the Montreal Alouettes, they kept the drive alive with Payton getting on that ball and recovering the fumble of David Green. But that was the only time David let that ball get away from him. But it's that second effort all the time that he gives you, because it looked initially that he was stopped at the line of scrimmage, and he just came out of the pilot.
What a year for him. As we said earlier, the outstanding player in the country, the outstanding player in the game, and no question David Green deserved that. Many will think that the Eskimos should have figured, really, in the outcome of the Outstanding Player Awards, and you might argue that. Tom Wilkinson's point was well made. It's certainly an unusual situation to have the losing team win all three awards, but really, it's for individual effort, not in terms of the outcome of the Grey Cup game that these awards are given.
It is for that individual effort, but really, the play that turned it around in that fourth quarter was the intercept by Holloman, or by Butler, I should say. He made the intercept, and then we got the penalty call, which got the Eskimos out of a tough position. The Alouettes were moving the ball. After David Green had fumbled, they recovered it. They continued to get another first down, and then this interception. The ball was tipped. Butler came up with it. Not only did he take over the ball, but Mangold is going to come in right there for spearing with that helmet. And they got the big penalty. That moved the Edmonton Eskimos out to center field and gave them that good field position for the rest of the particular quarter. And it was only the sort of partially blocked punt by Proudfoot that really gave Montreal any decent field position to start from after that particular penalty and intercept.
Well, Terry Evanson has joined us now, and Terry, there's no question the penalties hurt Montreal dearly. They came, as we saw, at key times in the game, but all the way through, the Alouettes, having started drives deep in their own zone as it was, were losing great opportunities for conversions on mistakes through the penalty route.
Don, it's David Green's Montreal offensive team, period. Joe Scannella feels if they get 6 and 7 yards in first down, they're going to win most of their football games. But when you come up against the #1 defense in the nation, you have to pass the football. David Green ran the ball exceptionally well. We all know how great he is, but Edmonton's defense didn't break. They were resilient. They kept coming back, and they played a ball game where they can control Montreal's offense because they know when they're going to pass the football.
Well, you made a point earlier, too. You said the Eskimos, and I agree, don't have an awful lot of work to do for 1980. They've got Moon coming along. The veteran Wilkie, you think, will be back, and he probably will. the set running game of Germany and those great receivers. But the Alouettes, I think you made a good point about that, have to change. They have to play more exciting football. Sure, they've won 2 years in a row, but they haven't won the Grey Cup, and that's what they're after.
Exactly, and if they don't do it, I don't think they're going to be there, and I think the fans are going to stay away. And I want to be positive about this because Montreal fans deserve exciting football. They've got the specials, they've got the running attack, they got the defense. Just come up with the passing attack.
All right, I want to thank you and, of course, Russ, my regular sidekick through the Eastern season, for a great job today. Right now, let's go downstairs once again and check in with Don Whitman.
Well, Chevy, everybody else has been passing along greetings to folks back home. Let's start. Bob Howes, you got anybody you want to say hello to?
Yes, I sure do. All of my family back there. Mary, Bo, Chris. How you doing?
Do I detect a little gray showing up in the beard?
No gray at all, but here's some right here. I tell you what.
I knew I could not last this dressing room scene without getting some of it dumped in my head.
Pierre, that's for you. Okay, that's the media. That's for you.
Okay, now that we've dispensed with all this nonsense, this is your 6th Grey Cup trip.
Thank you.
That stuff tastes a little good. Could I have the bottle? Is it any different this time than the first one?
Oh, they're all great. I can't say which is best, but the 3 ones that we won are super. This one here I think is very, very sweet because last time we were here we really got beaten up and the field conditions, and there was a few things that weren't going our way that day, obviously from the score, but I think this one's very, very sweet to us.
Bob, the offensive line had a few more problems today than you did back in Edmonton on Thanksgiving Day.
Well, we did at the last because we didn't throw the ball anymore. We wanted to run, and you can't do the same things on this defense all the time because they're so good. We got very, very conservative, and normally that's not our kind of game plan. We should get out there and mix things up and throw and then run a little bit, but we thought maybe with the 8 points we could do it, and fortunately we did.
Basically, your plan is to throw a lot and run a little.
I think that's basically it. Yeah.
Bob Howes, congratulations, and I owe you one, but let me have some champagne while we go over to Bill Stevenson.
All right. Linebacker Tom Towns, can you imagine playing football as long as Bob Howes has?
Well, it's kind of scary, but eventually I figure after I run my term as a linebacker, they're going to ask me to add a few pounds, and maybe I can work on a center position.
Centers can keep going. Have you really come to grips with the fact that your Grey Cup championship has it sunk in?
Not really, just only 30 minutes old, I'm sure, and about a bottle of champagne later. I'm sure later I'm going to sit down with some of my teammates and we're going to talk about it.
Tom, you expected to stop the running of Montreal. Now, did your 4-man, your 3-4 defense work as well as you thought it would against David Green and company?
Well, Montreal go a little bit outside of Green. A lot of that was my fault in the first quarter. We had worked on concentrating on working with a flow and Green bending it back. And I was keying a lot on Smith, who is just an excellent blocker, one of the best in his position, I think, in the CFL. He keeps on driving, so I was keying a lot into him in the backfield. A lot of times I was trying to keep leverage on him, and he just worked to the outside. A few missed tackles, and after that we shut it out.
For the 65,000-odd fans, Tom Towns, it was a great Grey Cup game.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. All right, Whitney, take over if you've got room there.
I've got room, Bill. You realize that the CBC spent good money for these jackets? Do you realize that, Dave Cutler?
Money they should have been getting it.
I like your outfit, Dave Cutler.
That's very, very nice. It's, actually we had to give up a lot for this ball game, and my sacrifice was my clothes.
You realize you're speaking to an old Victoria boy, and we're buddies. Victoria.
I've discovered one thing. Don't get champagne in your eye. It burns.
Well, especially the cheap stuff, but that's it. No, are we on the air?
Indeed we are, so be careful.
I got 3 guys at home. I got Scott, John, and Rob, our 3 guys, and I'd just like to say hello, and we'll see you tomorrow. Not bad, eh, guys? And don't forget the truck out in the slough, Rob.
All right. Now, if we can get Dave Cutler out of the picture in his Hawaiian costume here, we can talk to the star of the evening, Warren Moon. Warren, for the 2nd straight week, you've come on and just done a spectacular job.
Well, that's been my role all year, is to come in and try and change the tempo of the ball game, give a little spark to the team. I sort of look at myself as a 6th man in basketball coming off the bench and trying to spark the club as like a Freddie Brown does for the Seattle Sonics or something like that. And it's worked out good for us this year. It's worked out good for me in the playoffs, and I'm just happy.
What did you do when you came in against the Alouettes this afternoon? What specifically did you do, in other words, different than Wilkie was doing?
Well, I've been asked that question a lot. I don't think I did anything really more different than Wilkie did. I just tried to... the microphone. I just tried to be aggressive, you know, and I was aggressive the first part of the ball game and the first part of the second half, and then we scored, we got a lead, and we relied on our defense and our kicking game, you know, to keep us in the ball game, and we got a little more conservative in the fourth quarter where we didn't try and take as many chances because we knew our defense was playing well, and it would force them into passing situations because they were coming from behind, something they don't like to do.
Warren Moon, congratulations, the highlight of your career, and what a great future you've got in front of you.
Well, I certainly hope so, but I'm going to cherish this day to day. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Warren Moon. All right, Whit.
Bill, we had to get even with the quarterback. Ed Jones. Ed, quite a ball game.
Yeah, I think we played pretty well. Once we got things going. And That's okay, man. You look good that way.
I look good this way.
Yeah.
Well, when you don't have much up top, you may as well put some champagne in it. That's right. Ed, this particular ball game, the crowd, what was the reaction out there? You could really hear that crowd down the field level.
Oh, yeah, it seemed like the majority of the people here were rooting for Montreal because it seems like when things went against them, that's when it really got loud. And I'm sure it affected the offense a little bit because they need to hear the calls during the game.
Well, you fellas came up with the right calls during the game, a couple of big touchdowns, and congratulations on your Grey Cup victory.
Thank you.
Okay, Bill Stevenson.
It was the culmination,
A dry cleaning job is necessary.
A Grey Cup game that will go down in my memory as being one of the best. I thought it was just a great ball game, Whit.
Weather conditions absolutely ideal. Field conditions were perfect. A tremendously exciting ball game. It went right down to the finish. The Edmonton Eskimos with their second consecutive win, 17-9. And Grey Cup 79 from the Olympic Stadium in Montreal continues in a moment.
Only the finest for my husband, Harry. He's got a Black & Decker router. Harry knows.
With the Black & Decker router, you can make handsome, decorative edges easily. You can trim laminates for countertops and get smooth, clean edges. Make wood fit together the professional way.
Harry, how'd you ever manage before you got your Black & Decker router?
I don't even want to think about it.
Get a Black & Decker router.
You'll wonder how you ever worked without it.
Cutting out, I'm moving out of here. Well, I paid my dues. Cutting out for some good times, a good old dogs are near. Gonna spend some time my way. I'm really glad I'm here.
Canada's great taste in ale. What a beer to share.
Me and the boys in our 50s. Me and the boys and our beer.
Let's win the individual awards. The outstanding player offense, David Green. The outstanding player defensively was Tom Cousineau. And the outstanding Canadian player was Don Sweet. But the big prize, the 1979 Grey Cup, won by Edmonton over Montreal by a score of 17-9. Grey Cup 79. Brought to you by Canadian Pacific. Owned by Canadians. Working for Canadians. General Motors and your Chevrolet and Oldsmobile dealers across Canada. Labatt Breweries of Canada Limited, brewers of Labatt's 50 Ale and Labatt's Blue. Grey Cup 79. Game is now history, and with it the closing chapter of another CFL season. On behalf of the CTV and CBC networks, I'd like to thank our hard-working technical and production crews right across the country, and the executives and the players of the Canadian Football League. Our sponsors, without whom there would be no telecasts, and certainly you, our viewers, without whom there would be no reason to be here at all. The Grey Cup is not just a football game of winner-loser, yards gained and passes thrown. It is a way of life, a tradition, a blend of East-West unity, if you will. And it's a blend of fun and frolic. May it never end. As we have said before at this time, the new season starts tomorrow. I'm Tom McKee.